Gentlemen, welcome back to the shop today in the continuing cornucopia of crap from the Hazard Fraught. The Bauer drill looks good. It must be made in Germany. It's got a German name. Now, let's have a look at this piece of shit. Ah, fuck it. Oh, hey! A carry case instead of a plastic fucking piece of shit clamshell. Ah, what the fuck, over. Ah, fuck you, have a break. Fuck you. We're getting long on time. Fucking losing it. I think I strained a finger. Time. Won't be needing that. No stank. The barest whiff of stank as compared to this one. This one stank reeked to high heaven. This one not too bad. And that's that plastic, what gets either the mold release or this is reground plastic that you're using, but not in this case. It doesn't stink. None of that rotting dirty and in the sun, so that's kind of nice. We got the charge air here, so we'll get the battery on charge whilst we take the thing apart. Ancillary equipment includes a belt clip and a couple of shitty bits. Ooh, the fancy rib for her pleasure. Take a gander at that. It's not even ground flat. It's cambered off into the rhubarb there. So yeah, we know where that goes. Right into the art bin. On the periphery, we got that 2015 Michael Bay Transformer Space Pew Pew Pea Shooter effect going on here. And that actually helps them because on the molding side, they don't need to be quite as clean when there's these big nasty cuts in here. Ostensibly, that's for grip or aesthetics, but I submit to you the proof in the pudding. Now, we're in like some interesting features here. PA6 glass fiber reinforced, so nylon glass fiber reinforced. No surprise there. We'll just double check to make sure they didn't forget to put the glass in. You hear it cutting. And then the TPE, so thermoplastic elastomer on the outside here. Well anchored. We see the ejector pins here with the waffle pattern. That waffle pattern helps push it off and not smear when it's not pushing on a straight surface like this curved surface. Looks like the molds are all in great shape. 2017, third month, according to the witness marks there, or the time clock marks. Having a peek at this maybe is doing double duty for another brand. As we see, they went through the added expense of another component instead of molding that directly in. Why they would do that must be a feature on a different drill. A few little things here to have a gander at. We're seeing some pinch marks on the insulation of the wire. Is that a big deal at 20 volts? No, but it's there. Down in the basement here, pixies come in to get choreographed by the brain box here and these here MOSFETs. There are some heat sinking through hole vias, tiny ones in there, but no heat sinking to speak of, so that might get a little hot. And then we come up here into the Defon switch, or no, it's a J level switch, not Defon. And there must be a MOSFET in there as well because it's got a big old heatsink. So that's curious that they would have on here. Well, let's have a look at this. Overall, surprisingly uncrusty. We are seeing continual improvements in these tools. Here we have a current shunt here, what for ensuring that, well, that way this brain box can monitor how much current is going into the motor, not fry. MOSFETs in the totem pole configuration. We got a protection diode here on the front end. That probably is only for powering this guy because it's not big enough for all that power to go through and power the battery in that small little MOSFET anyway, that small little package. We got some Celastic here just to keep the board in place on the backing, and a 3mm LED work light. That's kind of crappy here. You see that assembled and then chewed up on assembly. We got a bare wire hanging out here. You see that? So a little more attention to detail would be required to not not chew the insulation on that as you're putting it together. We got the aluminium heatsink off, and yes, managed to smear diaper rash cream everywhere. And an odd, very odd, something we've never seen before, sort of belt and suspenders, but they're in parallel, so it's like the belt are relying on the suspenders. If one of them fails, your pants still stay up. If one of them fails, your pants fall down. So we got the totem pole MOSFETs here, and then in series with that, we also have another MOSFET in the trigger mechanism. So this could deal with a design revision to eliminate one of these, but more than likely this switch was spec'd out and at such volumes it was cheaper just to buy and put in rather than spec a different switch. So this has an ST Electronics, a good name brand MOSFET in here, and proper heat sinking. And then, well, geez, I don't know, maybe that's why there's no heat sinking here, because these guys aren't actually doing any switching. Hard to say, but very, very odd configuration. We have no bellows on the actuator rod for the potentiometer wiper. We do have a little Buna end condom to keep the big ball bearings out. And then, of course, the reversing action is not done electronically. It's actually done with a switch. In here we see all the silver wetted, or not wetted, but all the silver plated contacts in there. Now the conductors themselves, American wire gauge 16 tinned strand, so each strand is individually tinned. That prevents oxidation from forming. I'm not sure if that's an issue here, but it's an added expense. Not much of one, mind. Yeah, you can see the tin conductor. Odd arrangement here where we've, look at that, we've stripped all that back and it's inside a Mabuchi motor. Strange arrangement here, small little tiny brushes, and only two of them. The brush card integral in the motor itself. Looking at the back of the motor, the deep drawn bearing pocket here, they're a little bit aggressive. Maybe needed another step. We can see some marking here. The surface has been pulled apart. Some lateral kind of real shallow cracking, indicative of just trying too hard, taking too much of a big bite at once. And then we have a sintered, what appears to be an oil light, sintered bronze bushing, so not a proper ball bearing, but just a oil impregnated sintered bronze bearing material on the shaft. And then something interesting, some phenolic resin, some sort of thermoset plastic resin here as an insulator, but all this brass is directly onto the PA6, so that integral brush card will very likely get quite hot, especially considering instead of 4 brushes, we only have 2 brushes happening there. So, and it being integral, it's kind of a bit lighter duty design than their other model, the Hercules. And there's the front of the motor. There's the front of the motor PA6 spacer here. Just 1, 2, 3 little tabs holding the whole works together. And then we have a metal injection molded part. It's flanged here. We haven't seen that before on an input pinion motor. A motor input pinion, I guess. Tomato. And you can see that's flanged. Now the gear mechanism, by virtue of its physical size, not particularly beefy, very small physically, so not like the gear set itself, very small gear set here, and even the keyless chuck mechanism for locking it, only 2 little tiny anemic rollers in there, so if your keyless chuck ever starts to turn on its own, doesn't want to lock up, that's, you worn this out, or there's a chunk of schmoo or something in there. Only 2 little bearings. Even in its compatriot here, we got 4 if memory serves. So, not that great. All powdered metal gearing here. This is the clutch mechanism, the torque clutch mechanism. So the harder that you screw this down in, the harder it presses onto the balls, and the harder it is to come up and over these little mountains here. And when you come up and over the mountain, that puts it into neutral, essentially. No torque throughput from the motor into the chuck when this is disengaged. Actually, disengaged, it would push down on this. So that's the gear mechanism. Now, the chuck is where the rubber meets the road. We'll do a total indicated run out on this, but interesting, it's not the style, well, like the Jacobs style, the style we're all familiar with, that's got a cutout. If you'd focus, you fuck. Yeah, you can see the cutout there. So when it's actually gripping, when the chuck is actually gripping something round, it's on 2 points, so it's on 6 points. In this case, it's only on 3 points. And you say to yourself, well, that's no fucking good. And that's kind of what I say. But if you look at a quality German chuck here, Vita, let's see, if you'd focus, you fuck. A Vita, same arrangement. Hitting on 3 sides instead of, now I don't know if that bites better, if it's more accurate, less accurate, or just, a different flavor, vanilla versus chocolate. We'll check the total indicated run out, and so that's the more, yeah. You see that now. On the input side, there's only 3 pinions, and as we go up in torque, as we increase the torque, we get more and more pinions. Needs more meat there to handle the torque. Forgive my slurring. And in order to change gears, what we do is we engage or disengage this ring gear. So you get either 1 stage or 2 stages of reduction. Now we had a goodly peek under the skirts, but I myself like to get the full picture, if you know what I'm saying. So I set to work on getting the fuller picture of this whole hazard fraud company, the Harbor Freight Company. Sorry for my misspoken. Now, the founder, founded in California, and the original founder's dead. The son has taken it over, and let me tell you, partner, this guy did not have an easy upbringing. So he got put in an orphanage when he was 7. It just fucking, yeah. They say you can't be a man until your father's dead. Well, figuratively, unfortunately, this fella's father died when he was very young. And that's the thing you find with very driven people and very strong personalities, is that they just don't give up. They got fuck all else to lose. And this guy's clearly very, very driven. So, started a company with his dad, and then he took over. What he started doing, and his dad actually took him to court over this, what he started doing was leveraging up. That means taking on all kinds of debt. And what he would do was he would pay himself a dividend out of his debt. So he would go to the bank, take out a loan, and then pay that money out of the company. So he'd essentially be sort of selling off pieces of the company in debt. But what was allowing him to do that was that Harbor Freight was growing so expansively that banks were only more than happy to let him leverage up on a whole bunch of debt. But here's the thing. So Harbor Freight, the whole deal is, when it fucks up, you bring it back, you get another one. Okay, so the warranties are starting to change now, where it's 90-day warranties. Also, look at what happened to Sears now. Sears doesn't even sell crafts. Sears is no longer. They're tits up. So brick and mortar it's a sketchy business. So from a business standpoint, it makes sense for him to take some of that money out of the business. If it goes tits up, he's already made his billions, and we're talking billions. Here's the thing, me talking about this now, when the money gets big, people get hurt. And I am just a little guy, so let's just put that out there. Now, the thing is, what is preventing the likes of Amazon from coming in and having their own Amazon Prime tool line and just putting all these guys right out of business? There is very little barrier to entry. So you got to watch that if you're thinking about in the future, well, I want to be able to warranty the tool. We don't know if Harbor Freight is going to be around in 10, 15 years because brick and mortar, it's going the way of the dodo bird. Now, you say to me, well, wait a second. I'm not going to be able to warranty the tools. I can't just walk into Amazon Prime and warranty the tools. Here's the thing, though. Harbor Freight knows exactly how much that warranty costs them. They know how much slippage, how many things slip. They know that the warranty is going to cost them $5 a drill, and they tack that onto the price. So you're paying for that amount of warranty already. There's nothing that says Amazon Prime can't do the same thing, only instead of paying that extra $5, they knock $5 off the price. Now you're looking at a Bauer for $50, or you're looking at an Amazon Prime for $45, and it gets there next day. It's taking forever to charge. No surprise, as the output of this is 1.7 amps. So we'll have a peek here. Oh, nice. Samsung. Incredible. Little chunk taken out here. And oddly, I've never seen that before, where the Samsung cells have underneath the wrap have some printing. We'll have to turn on our battery mooch bat light, see what he can tell us about that. They appear to be very high quality cells, and actually not high output, but very likely will last longer than these guys, just inherently in the chemistry. The higher the output, the lower the lifetime. However, in these guys, they're a lower capacity. It all ties together. If you got high capacity, high output, you get low lifetime. If you got middle range capacity, middle range output, C rating, then you get longer lifetime. So there is a trade-off there in the chemistries, and it's inherent in the chemistries. You can't get away from it until, the battery technology, it's ever forward, put it that way. And now Tesla is going to be putting men on Mars with lithium batteries. I mean, sky's the limit. So here's the balancing lines, but it's all done internal in the charger. little Chinesium glitch here. So I question this as to whether the material is actually PA66. It does have glass fiber reinforcing, but look at the symbology, the iconography, completely different than anything. Well, not completely different, but it's saying 30%. And normally the markings are more like this. This is a proper marking here. So PA6-GF30, less than sign, more than sign. Less than sign. So, yeah. Interesting. It's almost like they wanted us to see that. Wee bit of capped on tape, keeping everything in place. And, blue light fail. Horrific. Retina piercing blue light. The worst possible choice. Although, yeah, they have made those LEDs a little milky. What do you call that? Diffuse. Now here's the back of the charger. Intertech, Mark of the Beast, listed here. And there is a number there. So we could look up the manufacturer and see what factory this is actually being built by. However, if you notice, no FCC markings whatsoever. Federal something. Essentially, it can't make any electrical noise that will interfere with the functioning of other electronicals. That's omitted. And if we see here, now I don't know the legality of all that crap, but in the previous video when we took one of these apart for the, I believe it was the earthquake, there was no protection here. There was a bunch of unpopulated sections on the input side, same as here. And there was a number of comments from Brainiacs, way smarter than I am about this sort of thing, that very likely this would make a lot of electrical noise because they have omitted those. In order to prove that or disprove it, what we can do here is I will have a DeWalt charger and we'll charge it up, and we'll just take an AM radio and see how noisy it is, and then we'll plug this cork stuffer in and see how noisy it is. On the construction side though, not too crusty. Of course, all Chinesium components, big beefy heatsink here, and lots of Celastic, just schmoo everywhere, keeping everything together. I figured I'd take another kick at the cat here, and sure enough, lo and behold, on the single-sided board on the obverse here, we got all kinds of brain boxery happening. Very likely, well, it's been wiped off with acetone or something, but very likely one of those high-tech charge controllers, and that is ensuring that the balance charging is working and so forth. Good electrical separation from high voltage to low voltage. We see here on the components that are missing, we have some static dissipative chevrons here in order to the spark gaps. And also on this side, a cute little thing, they've omitted the solder mask on these traces in order to add some thickness to the traces, and that helps the current carrying capability. But pretty craptacular. Very craptacularly done, however. It didn't seem to have chooched very well at all. Now we'll get her back together and we'll test this against the DeWalt. We got our instrument under test, and our test instrument, the AM radio, it's on 1,000 kilohertz, something like that. Hurts so good. Kordak. Oh yeah. That's pretty fucking noisy. Oh yeah, and then it died. Under load. Interesting. Creepy. Yeah, we'll try the DeWalt. Some extra fuzz, but no real chunky nastiness there. While we're at it, we'll have a quick peek at the DeWalt to see what the input filtering is. There's a fan in there. Goes in, yeah. Big difference. So we got that cap, and we got chokes. Whole bunch of chokes. A lot more going on than this guy. Here's the stepper motor fan, actually blower. Everybody needs a good blower in their life. Unfortunately, the thing comes on regardless of the temperature in the shop. It's kind of a pain in the ass. You might want to add, only turn it on when you need it, because for me anyway, it's a pain in the ass to charge a battery, because then I can't make the video because there's a background noise and people complain and yada yada yada. So for me, if the DeWalt could just kindly, actually, you know what? I'll take that out now, because fuck it, and then I can use this blower for nefarious purposes. Comparing like to like, we'll do it without the fan now. Yeah, a little noisy, a little more staticky, and a couple little whistles while it chooches, and that's it. Now the foreplay is over, we'll do the fun part. The stepbrother docking. Oh God, I bet you there is. Don't do it. Some things cannot be unseen. One thing that's a pain in the ass about this guy is it doesn't lock up. It turns that, yeah, you see, it's turning the thing before it fucking really locks up, and that happens quite a bit. It's a pain in the ass, because when you're trying to tighten something up and you got to turn it a bunch before it kicks in, before it engages that clutch, that locking sprag, it's a pain right in the cunning linguals. This guy, only the 2 pins on the sprag, only the 2 rollers, so I got a feeling that'll fail pretty quick. But a different arrangement for the electronicals than this one. Now we're going to head to header and see which one lets the smoke out. Of course, this one has far better batteries, 2,500 milliamp hour rated batteries, and these guys are 15, well, better. What is better? They have more capacity. Whether or not they'll live as long, probably my money's on these guys for longevity. Now this is a pain in the ass. It takes forever to charge. 1.7 amps trickling in there. Of course, this guy's 4 amps, more than twice as fast. Even though it's got higher capacity, it's still faster. It still seems faster. This just seems pathetically anemic. Okay, pack charged it on the plus side. It took nearly 3 beer to do it. So, I think we are well and goodly lubricitized in order to make this thing go. Huh? Huh? Oh, she's upside down. Heavens. I'll just jam that in there. Okay. Mother on speed dial, 2 condoms. Something, something. Oh, powered out. What the fuck? Are you serious? No fucking way. Dead? No fucking way. Fucking dead. Already. Let the smoke right out of her. Woof. That pesto job. Let the smoke clean right out of her. Oh yeah. Yeah. Blew the arsene right out of the MOSFETs. Straight off the hop, too. That's so disappointment. What the fuck over? I never seen the like of that. Just give her a wee fucking chooch and boom, blammo. Roasted. Fucking garbage. That's too bad, too, because overall, the build quality isn't that bad. You know, you look at the price of her. $59 hairs with the battery. The batteries, if they're legit, Samsung sells. Fuck, that's not a bad deal there. But 30 seconds of hard use and it dies. That ain't no fucking good at all. It's not like I'm gonna pull the old Snow Mexican routine, try and get it through Trump's wall twice in 1 month. They will return this. That's the thing about Canadians. Wily bunch. Going in there stealing all your jobs. You don't even know we're foreigners. Blend right in. Well, except for saying sorry on occasion, and instead of we say thank you. What are you gonna do? Let's start performing a little brisk action here. Clip the fuck out of these. Yeah, look at that. Shoots the die right into a low Earth orbit instantly, and roasted her to boot. That thing there is fuckered. She'll do. Okay. It works. It's working. Weird, yeah, how the tail end doesn't go flush. Yeah. You stuck on Mars, you gotta make potato vodka out of your own feces. I'm your man. I mean man. Pretty soon those leaked photos of Miss Halloween 1989 are gonna get out. 90, 91, 92, 90. Yeah, people were starting to ask questions. You can slow us down, but you can't fuck us over, huh? Huh? In half chooch, once again for the second time. Quarter. Oh. Letting the smoke out of a bunch of spots now. This one's dead again. What the fuck over? I figured the trigger MOSFET let the smoke out, but no. That ST devices. Skookum, something else. I think the motor, or this is interesting though, on the back of that PCB, the wipers that control the speed. It's not actually a potentiometer. It's a trace, gold-plated trace, with actual slots for, well, steps, essentially. So it's checking to see, and probably Charlie plexed or multiplexed, and it is maybe. And it's checking to see what position that wiper is touching. So you get off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 speeds, and then full chooch. So that's how that works. There's distinct speeds there. It's not a potentiometer, just a wiper on there. So now, guess, well, we got ourselves a good Mabuchi motor and a little gearbox there for something or other. For the price, you know, 59 bucks, I figured it'd be, looking at it, I thought it'd be okay, but you really got to test the things to find out. And just gave her the old redheaded stepchild routine. You know, some things thrive on abuse and neglect. I'm sure they'll iterate this to make her stronger there. Once they get that down, this won't be a bad drill for the price. You know, guys are looking for shitty throwaway drill, or shops are looking for them because they always walk out the door. This might be that, if when they fix this fucking abortion of a control system. Thanks for watching. Keep your dick in a vice.